seem to get it. And in my mind I'm ready. My time's made up, I gotta go. And it's alright if you want to see through your tomorrows. But right now, I gotta go. If you want to stay, then you can.
Here's our music serving you some music. Papa got a brand new funk. Kick down, party for your rap. Let's get it on, like we said before. See the brothers call the trouble, hate the busted bubble, cause we rumble from all over. Hello everybody, this is Nate Patterson, and this is another episode of Express Yourself from Home. COVID-19 version. Get that echo out of there now, completely, right? Okay, this is what it is today. I get to express
Express
myself.
yourself. Express yourself.
Never don't believe what happened to me today. Or maybe you
Express yourself.
You already know. All right, let's get this thing started. Yep, I'm back in jail on Facebook. You know what I mean? What else is new? Before I get to that, right? Let's cover something else, man, because you know that shit's getting old. But I got a counterpoint. I want to show some contrast to what Facebook is doing. Like we don't already know, but the white demographic seems to have a problem understanding what we people, especially conscious people, woke people, are going through. Okay, what was I going to talk about before that? I forgot. All right, so let's get to this till I remember. Okay. All right, but first thing I want to do is say this to Facebook. Maybe I can't.
Fuck them! Fuck them! Fuck them up against the wall. Wear handcuffs on and crazy through all their lips.
I hope that came through because I couldn't hear it. Oh, man, let me monitor my audio so I can see if I can hear it. I'm going to do it again. Hang on.
Fuck them! Fuck them! Fuck them up against the wall. Wear handcuffs on and crazy through all their lips.
And that's exactly the way I feel about Facebook this morning. Because, man, you know, I mean, this stuff is really getting ridiculous, right? I got to get my displays up. And let me get this up so I can show you guys exactly what I'm talking about here. This stuff has to stop. You know, currently on CNBC, right, they've been tearing Facebook a new asshole, or at least reporting that Facebook is getting a new asshole from the NAACP, civil rights organizations, sponsors that are pulling their ads on Facebook, right? They're pulling their ads on Facebook, you know, because they don't want their ads to go next to the racist shit that Facebook allows to stay up on Facebook. Let's talk about the community standards first, right? The community standards, they use that when they're about ready to kick you off Facebook for a couple of days. I mean, they've gotten a little bit lenient because normally it's 30 days a pop, right? But lately, I've been only getting kicked off for 3 days, and I got 3 days now. They did threaten me with 30 days the next time I so-called misbehave, right? But, you know, here's the problem I got. They're getting me for what they determine is hate speech, right? You see that? I don't know if you can read that, right? But I got this exactly 2 minutes. And I mean literally 2 minutes after I posted this. Okay, I got the wrong picture up. All right, let me get the right one. Hold on a second. You know, they really get on my nerves when they do this because they always do it on a day where I have something important to put on Facebook. I mean, it's like they know exactly what's going on in my head. All right, there it is. All right, you can't post or you can't post a comment for 3 days. This is because you previously posted something that didn't follow our community standards like white people do. This post goes against our standards on hate speech. On hate speech, in which Facebook defines as something that goes directly against another demographic, threatens them, and this, that, and the other. Now keep that in mind, right? Keep that in mind. I mean, if you want the textbook explanation of hate speech, you can go ahead and go to your settings and go into support inbox, and they'll be happy to show it to you, right? But I want to show you the post that I put up if I could find it. You're gonna tell me I didn't cue that up? Well, let's see if I can get it up this way. That didn't sound right, right? All right, we're gonna go to the settings. We'll go to settings. We're gonna go to support inbox, right? We're gonna go to support inbox. All right, and right here, okay, is the latest in a long stream of me getting kicked off Facebook for what they deem is hate speech. Okay. Now keep in mind that hate speech has third-party fact checkers, and they're all white. I don't know how these people can understand what we're talking about when they can't understand black people, but yet they know that it's hate speech. Okay. All right. So, all right, here's the post. I don't know if you can see that, but I'll read it to you. Right. This is after, let me give you a little background first. This is after I stumbled across the post where this white dude was just going ham, because the caption on the post read that 16 white people have driven through or plowed their cars through black BLM protesters, right? Consider that. Now this jerk, right? He's on there talking about, yeah, you should be on the sidewalk. If you're in the street, you're blocking traffic, and it's not like you have the right of way. He was giving bullshit like that. So I started off soft, told him about his cognitive dissonance and this, that, and the other. And what's interesting is that they picked this particular one, but they didn't pick the last post that I knew definitely was going against community standards when I posted it. I said, okay, I'll be gone today. But I got some important stuff to do. I shouldn't post it, but then I said, fuck it, I'm going to post it anyway. Maybe they might miss it. They missed that one, but they didn't miss this one. All right, here you go. Got my cigarette lit so I can calm the fuck down, right? Excuse me, I said I wasn't going to cuss no more in this show. I apologize. All right, let me read this to you. Right, now after this guy was talking, all this garbage about, the people in the street were at fault, right? The drivers had every right to plow through them with their cars. And we've seen even cops, at least 2 cops, plow through protesters claiming they were in fear for their lives while they're inside their vehicles with guns. You can't make this stuff up, can you? Right, okay, it says, I said, your people have killed and raped every demographic they have ever encountered, including their own. The cognitive dissonance in your people is overwhelming until it's one of you. Then you go bomb countries, which is true, they do, right? White people are the most evil people on this planet. Now, right there, okay, because I got kicked off and warned by making that same exact statement. You know what I mean? They hate to be called evil. Well, the truth hurts, motherfuckers. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry again. I apologize. All right. Okay. So let's pick up where I left off. White people are the most evil people on this planet and have looted this planet. I got that from Tamika Mallory. Looted this planet. Your post on the stream proves my post to be true. Now, let a dog die. You people will lose your minds. You are not human in the same sense of having compassion for anyone but your own. Your demise is inevitable. I can't wait. Right? Okay, those are some hard words. Those are my exact thoughts. Every thought in there is true. but yet they define it as hate speech, right? They define that as hate speech, okay? But let me show you, right, what they do not define as hate speech. Let's pick a good one. And let's see, how about, well, let's start off with this, okay? Now, they do not define this as hate speech, okay? Oh, well, there's the N word spelled right out, which directly goes against Facebook community standards. Look at the hand. It's a white hand. This was posted by a white person. Now, the reason I know that this person didn't suffer the fate that I did is because that post is still there. See, once you've been put in jail, the post that got you put in jail is immediately taken down. It's no longer viewable by anyone, right? No longer viewable by anyone. Okay, but that post is still there. Let's see if we can find another one. All right, let's get rid of this. Blah blah blah. Now we all know that blackface is completely offensive. It goes against their community standards, and yet, ta-da, woman in blackface. You know what I mean? Now, see, when you repost these things, you're well within the community standards guidelines because they allow for third-party posting. Okay, like when I come back, I'm going to post exactly what they put up, the post that I put up, so you people can be the judge. All right, whether or not it's hate speech. Okay, but the original poster, you know that person suffered no consequence, right? That person suffered no consequence because the post is still there. Let's pick another one. I can barely see these things. I should enlarge them, right? I guess I can't. Okay, so well, the George Floyd challenge, which is definitely taunting one other demographic, right? And they don't care, and these Negroes that allow this stuff to go on, what I mean? I have no sympathy for them. They deserve exactly what they're going to get, so I'm not even going to comment on it. But see, even if, that's a joke, like, or a prank, like white people say, he's just joking, it's a prank. Come on, lighten up. Well, see, in his hand, he has a fucking gun, excuse the expression. Toy or not, the insinuation is there, right? It goes directly against Facebook community standards. You understand what I'm saying? And yet, I was put in jail for hate speech, right? I was put in jail for hate speech because I spoke my mind, which caused no harm to no one, and I told the truth. Here's another one. Oh, look at that. Strange fruit. They love to see Negroes hanging, right? This was a postcard. Now let that sink in. You understand what I'm saying? That was probably maybe that's a bad example, right? Because that was probably one of us that made that, right? But still, it's there and it's offensive. That should have been taken down, right? Okay, here's the one of the usual ones, and this guy is still on Facebook, right? Literally, that's a threat. Literally, the FBI should be investigating this guy, right? That's a former president, and he's hanging a former president. You understand? Right? Now, normally the Secret Service, CIA, or whoever the fuck whoever those guys are, right? They normally go to your house and check you out. Nobody visited Mr. Casper, you know what I mean? Because he's a vice president of an IT company. When you got money and you're white, you're above the law. We already know that. We already know that, Facebook, right? I want to find you guys something. While I'm on Facebook, right? I can't post. If you want to see, right? Here, let me show you. I can't post. All right, we'll type the letter 1, and then we'll hit send, and I'll be damned. I'm posting. You know what? This is the second time this has happened. This is the second time this has happened. I'm supposed to be kicked off, and yet I'm not. Let me try this again. I'm gonna try a whole post. All right. Those who be in Facebook jail, and yet I'm posting. Is this related to COVID? You know, because they always use COVID as an excuse, right? You know, we can't really answer anything because of COVID. You know what I mean? So, you know, screw you and just wait till COVID's over. Okay, let's post that. And ta-da, it's there. So Facebook just made me look like a jerk, right? Wow. So you know what that tells me, right? You know what that tells me? Okay, that tells me that the bots are working, but the people are not in the office. Okay, to I guess follow up on this, right? I'm actually posting. Now you saw the notification. Let me go back over here and show you the notification again. Go to settings, right? We go to support inbox, and let's see. We do they have a yeah? See, check the date right here. It says today at 12:04 p.m. It is now 12:59, right? And you notice I disagreed with the post, right? And it says we confirmed your comment didn't follow the community ads, the community standards. They confirmed it. Let's go check the community standards out. Okay, let's look down. Blah 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 blah. Violence, criminal behavior. I don't know where hate speech is. Let's see. Let's drop down these menus. We haven't found it yet. Objectionable content. Crew. Now, you know, take a look. Oh, here it is. Hate speech. But right here, adult nudity and sexual activity. Well, I have escort agencies in my inbox. You know, full porn. I've reported, and yet they're still alive and thriving on Facebook. And Facebook said they didn't go in their community standards. All right, here we go. Hate speech, right? We do not allow hate speech on Facebook because it creates an environment of intimidation and exclusion, and in some cases may promote real world violence. We define hate speech as a direct attack on people based on what we call protected characteristics, such as race, ethnicity, national origin, religious affiliation, sexual orientation, caste, sex, gender identity, and serious disease and or disability. We protect against attacks on the bias of age. Well, you know, a lot of people call me an old motherfucker. Y'all haven't knocked these people out. You know, I'm just saying, man. I'm throwing that out there, man. I felt some kind of way when I was. Never mind. Anyway, that was a joke. All right. So, well, you get the gist of it. I don't have to read the whole thing, right? Okay. So, what do I do now? I continue to make this video. Why? Because they do this all the time, and they have the nerve, right? I'm sorry, you couldn't see that. There it is. That's everything that I wrote. I mean, everything that I read. Right? I'll leave it up there for a couple of seconds so that you guys can see it. Right? And this is crazy. Thank God for COVID. Well, anyways, like I was saying, right, Facebook is under fire because a lot of their sponsors are pulling their ads because they don't want their ads to be next to, why can't I get back here? Next to the racist material that Facebook is allowing because they support the white supremacy group. Okay, they do nothing to these people. They don't give them a consequence for anything that they do. Okay, anything that they do. All right, let's see. Hey, I wonder if my post is still there. Anyways. All right, I'm trying to scroll down here so I can get to these posts that I did. And if you guys haven't seen it, man, check out Bishop's Barbecue. That joint is off the chain. I like the one with the all-female board because they got busy. And I mean, intellectual Miss Tamika Mallory for vice president. I'm trying to tell you something. Y'all don't understand that, but I do. All right, so here we go. Here we go, right? I'm going to try to play this, okay? See if you guys can hear it. Okay, ADL CEO. This is on CNBC, right? They've been running this story. I haven't seen it nowhere else, maybe on MSNBC, but I haven't seen it there, right? The video should be, I guess it's not. It's not here. Oh, this is the video. All right, while they're doing that, loading the ads, right? Facebook's been under fire because people have been pulling their ads. You know what I mean? And they suffered a $2.3 billion loss a couple of weeks ago. They're slated to lose more, right? They're slated to lose more because these guys are serious about their ads.
Next guest leads one of the civil rights groups scheduled to meet with Mark Zuckerberg today virtually. Joining us right now is Jonathan Greenblatt. He's the CEO and National Director of the Anti-Defamation League, which helped begin this campaign. You saw Sheryl Sandberg's statement ahead of your call. She says explicitly at the top of it, Facebook stands firmly against hate. And even though they are a platform and they want to give people voice, she says it doesn't mean it's acceptable for people to spread hate. It is not, and we have clear policies against hate. They're also obviously coming out, you just heard from Julia, with this civil rights audit. Is that enough for you?
Good morning, Andrew. It is absolutely not enough for me. It is not enough for the NAACP, Color of Change, Free Press, or any of these organizations, and it's not enough for their advertisers. Can you imagine if the CEO of Starbucks said, well, we're making sure that our coffee doesn't poison people because it's the right thing? Or the CEO of, say, Comcast saying we're not showing white supremacist content just because we think it's the right thing? When they say they're not doing it because of advertising pressure, that's exactly why they're doing it. Almost 1,000 companies and growing every day. Years and years have gone by, and Facebook has given apologies, but has failed to give in the kind of action you would expect from any public company on the market today. And let's be clear, hundreds of millions of dollars in lost advertising revenue are why they're doing this. When their stock price plummeted 8.25% last week, and they shaved $56 billion of value off the stock, that's why they're doing this. I mean, really, the time for, well, it's the right thing to do is over. Now it's the thing that they must do. Because why should Fortune 500 companies, why should mom and pop subsidize hate? It just doesn't make sense.
Jonathan, though, explain, I mean, there's two pieces. One is, and they're saying this civil rights audit was going to come out irrespective of this campaign. Explain what it is that you think they need to do relative to the work they, I imagine, are going to tell you on the phone call today that they have been doing.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, if this were a good faith effort to release the audit, they wouldn't be shoehorning it in, accelerating its release, timed with our meeting today. If this were a good faith effort, they would have already given us a set of recommendations about how they're responding to our recommendations, Andrew, rather than spinning with a Facebook post hours before the meeting. What do we want them to do? It's pretty simple. Number one, put civil rights leadership at the top in the C-suite that's going to look at this in a strategic and holistic way like they would any other business priority. Regular, independent audits that are published about how they're dealing with hate content. And why should any advertiser have their ads subsidize white supremacy, anti-Semitism, racism? They should be removed immediately. All of them. The advertisers should be refunded for that. And finally, why in the world would any business host groups of hundreds of thousands of people who espouse racism, Holocaust denialism, Islamophobia? I mean, it just doesn't make sense that this issue persists. The only reason they're acting now, Andrew, is because of Stop Hate for Profit.
Let me ask you a separate question, which is, clearly they've put, a lot of this requires AI and is almost a there's a philosophical issue, which clearly we can have that debate about, and then there is the technological issue of using artificial intelligence to be able to track and identify this hate speech and be able to either take it down effectively before it goes up. And the question I would ask you is, I think that they're going to tell you today that there's work that they've done on that score. I think we may have just lost Jonathan for a brief moment. We've had a couple of technical issues this morning. We might be getting him back. Jonathan, are you back with us?
This guy's a trumper.
So,
just to let you know.
Andrew, can you hear me?
Oh, here he is. Yep, I can. We were just talking about the technological and philosophical issues at play here, and whether the tech is there, and what other steps they need to take to get the tech right to make this work.
Facebook has built the most sophisticated advertising platform in the history of capitalism. They can micro-target their users by location, by age, by industry, by gender. Are they really saying that they can't target neo-Nazis? Are they really trying to make us believe that they can't remove white supremacists? There's a reason why they have 8 million customers today, because their tech is so good. What they need to do is realize we're not talking about a technology problem. We're talking about a values problem. Does Mark Zuckerberg believe this is an annoyance or a business imperative? Does Mark Zuckerberg believe that they're a neutral platform and there are good people on both sides? Or will he once and for all take a stand and say, I won't tolerate racism, anti-Semitism, and hate on my platform? I mean, you know what? Look, Andrew, it's hard to build an $80 billion advertising behemoth. It's not hard to remove the KKK from your service. And we just need Mark. We need Facebook's leadership to apply the pressure to get this done. And if they don't see the urgency, maybe now that 1,000 advertisers have stepped up, maybe now they finally will.
So that's that, right? And you can see
the new house is amazing. So much character.
Original crown molding, walk-in closets.
You know, I'm working from home, right? Anyways, you can see the bullshit in what they're doing to protect Mark Zuckerberg and his organization, because most of those anchors on CNBC, they're Trumpers, right? And they really don't care. The only thing they care about is the stock market and their profits. I guarantee you. I play the stock market now, and I listen to that every morning. This is where I got this story, because I was sending screenshots of all this stuff that comes across my screen to local news 22. I haven't sent anything to 40 yet, you know what I mean? But 22 refuses to show anything, you know what I mean? I called them this morning when I supposedly got muted for 3 days. Nobody's in the office, but yet all the salespeople are in the office. Do you understand? I couldn't get a reporter's line. You know what I mean? Because they're home. But the salespeople, basically it's all about money is what I'm trying to get across to you, right? There's another video up here, the civil rights group. I'm trying to pull up, but my computer's being really slow right now, right? Really slow. It's that one, with that idiot on the front cover. Okay, so let's see what Homeboy got to say. And of course, they're going to run an ad first. So while they run this ad, right, they've been actually promising shit and not doing it. It's basically what it is. All right, they got all these problems, like the man said, trying to find white racists and white supremacists. But, they couldn't find,
Let's bring in Derek Johnson, NAACP president and CEO, who is also present at today's meeting. How would you qualify the meeting overall, Derek?
Well, Facebook is more interested in dialogues than action and outcomes. It's always a pleasant conversation, but at the end of the day, we've done nothing, or they've done nothing, I should say, to keep our society safe and protect our democracy. This is just not enough. We provided them with the list of 10 things over 3 weeks ago. They asked for the meeting, and we're happy to meet, but the outcome of the meeting was the same thing we've got from the last meeting, very little to no action.
I'm sure you accept that they're in quite a tricky position, Derek, that they've got a lot of competing pressures on them. What could they have done today? What could Mark Zuckerberg have done today that would have satisfied you?
Well, it's not a tricky position to work to remove hate, racial hate from your platform. It's not a tricky position to secure our democracy. They had 10 things. There is nothing that was done. You think about the politician inception, and on their platform, we had a politician who say, when the looting starts, the shooting begins. They put African Americans at risk. They have African American employees, and they didn't even take that into consideration, and they left that divisive post on their platform. The reason why it was there is because they lack any senior level civil rights person with experience to speak to how that post alone can incite violence.
What did they say? What did Mark Zuckerberg say? What did Sheryl Sandberg say?
It's the same conversation. You know, they speak about progress being made, but we have nothing to measure against. They talk about value alignments. That's good conversation, but nothing was done. They talk about maintaining open dialogue. We've always done that, but there are no actions.
Do you believe that they approach this purely as a PR exercise, as one other meeting participant framed it as?
After being in dialogue with Facebook for over 2 years, the only thing I can measure are the outcomes, and there have been no actions. So the purpose of the meeting was to continue dialogue, which seems to be the thing they're most interested in. And there are no outcomes. There are no outcomes. There are no outcomes. I keep repeating the same thing. And, you know, just like any company or investor, they're looking for outcomes, a return on investments. There are no return on the investment of the dialogues that we've had over 2 years.
What's different this time, Derek, is we just put it on a wall, the number of giants in corporate America that are either pausing or pulling ads from Facebook's platforms. So was there any conversation about that and what would happen next in this movement that you've created, that you've enlisted so many well-known brands like Coca-Cola and Unilever into the cause? I guess Coca-Cola not officially part of the boycott, but still pausing social media spend.
We appreciate those brands and the value alignment that we see. Those brands like NAACP and all of our partners, we believe that our society should be free of hate speech. We believe that our society should ensure and protect our democracy. That's a value alignment. And unfortunately, Facebook has not done anything to self-regulate to ensure that racial hate groups are removed from the platforms. They have qualified personnel in their structure who can understand and appreciate the need to have a civil rights review of their policy, and they have not done anything to ensure the protection of our democracy.
So are you going to call for this boycott to last beyond July into August?
We're going to continue to push to make sure our communities are safe. You know, I think about African American employees at Facebook. Some was on the Zoom call, and I asked a question: what impact do you think their life would have when they leave the safety of that campus and they go to African American communities, and racial hatred posts are there to incite incidents? You're putting your own staff at risk. Those companies that align with our values, they have African American employees, they have Jewish employees, they're putting their employees at risk. We should not be in 2020 looking at companies like Facebook who are refusing to do basic things like protect our society from racial hate speech and protect our democracy.
How do you think this ends, Derek? Do you think Facebook will make the type of changes that you've been looking for? Or do you think we'll go back to normal as if nothing ever happened? Or in fact, do you think lots and lots and lots of more companies will add their names to the list of those boycotting Facebook?
But the NAACP, we're 111 years old. We have been fighting against discrimination, racial hatred for that whole time. We will continue to fight. We have no option. And at some point, we hope that Facebook will wake up to the reality is they have responsibility to keep communities safe. They have a responsibility to protect this democracy. And many of the partners who've stood up with us, we hope they will continue to stand with us. But for the NAACP, for African Americans, we must continue to fight. Our lives depend on it.
Derek Johnson, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I guess I was there. All right. So anyways...
you should be mad at tech that's unnecessarily...
So anyways, there you have it, from the horse's mouth. They would have met with Zuckerberg. At first, actually, Zuckerberg didn't even show up at that meeting. He had his people there, right? He couldn't even give them you know, I forgot the word I want to use again. My mind is not working this morning. He couldn't give them respect to showing up and addressing this problem in person. You can see how the newscasters, all of them are Trumpers, man. You know what I mean? They're up in that real Republican tax bracket where they just don't care about this stuff, and it's only going to be a hindrance because they play those stocks. Right? Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. But in any regard, man, this is what I'm dealing with today. And I just thought I'd bring it to you. So since Facebook made a jerk out of me.
Fuck him! Fuck him! Fuck him up against the wall. Wear handcuffs on and crazy to the only lip.
And that's exactly the way I feel about Facebook. Peace.
Your bad self. Help us break this down from off the shelf. Here's our music serving you some music. Papa got a brand new funk. Kick down, body for your right. Let's get it on, like we said before. See the brothers call the trouble, hate the busted bubble, cause we rumble from our